Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to dive into Unearthed Arcana for a couple of unsung heroes that lurk in these pages. They are Oil of Impact and Oil of Sharpness. Both of these are pretty good to get as a player. I like giving these out, especially at 4th, 5th level games where players don't have a lot of magic weapons, or that any magic weapons they have are kind of weak. This is a good way to boost them up for a short term. It's a good consumable pair of magic items. So the Oil of Impact. This magical substance is charged with a powerful Dweomer which has beneficial effects upon blunt weapons and missiles of all sorts, magical and non-magical. When applied to a blunt weapon such as a club, hammer, or mace, it causes the weapon to be both be magical and deliver extra damage. When the oil is applied to the missile, its effect is to make both magical and very deadly upon impact. Missiles upon which the Oil of Impact will properly function are hurled hammers, hurled clubs, sling stones, and sling bullets. A flask of this substance will contain 3 to 5 applications. Each application will last 9 to 12 rounds on a handheld weapon, but when applied to a missile weapon, the substance has but a single charge. With respect to missiles, however, only a small amount need be used, so that 4 to 5 sling missiles or 2 larger weapons can be treated with a single application. If the oil is used on a handheld weapon, the Dweomer will bestow +3 status to the weapons to hit and cause +6 damage on a successful hit. Missiles will be both +3 to hit and +3 to damage. That's pretty darn good. Here we have a lower level character. He doesn't have any kind of magical item, or if he does have a magical item, it's maybe a +1. So he says, hey, the heck with this. I've got my +1 hammer. I need to beef this guy up, so I'm going to make it, in this case, +3, +6. So you've got that big bad evil guy encounter coming up. You're taking a few minutes to prep for it. You take your Oil of Impact. You go ahead and you smear a dose onto your hammer, and maybe the group thief has a sling, and you do 4 to 5 sling missiles. I would always allow if the player wanted to do 5, I'd let them do 5. And then they become +3, +3. It's just a good way to temporarily boost the party's power for that big bad evil guy or that big group that they have to fight. Well, they'll have a better chance of success, and it will build the tension a little bit and add to the role playing. So I like Oil of Impact for that. The other thing I've done with Oil of Impact is I've done another version where instead of just +3, +6, on the handheld, if it's put in a hammer, it will do an additional die 6 damage. So it'll be +3, +6, +1 die 6. So it's just a way to beef it up a little bit. I've called those greater oils of impact, or sometimes I just make them a special. It's just something I've done at my table a time or two. And it doesn't impact the encounter all that much. It doesn't impact game balance really at all, because this is a consumable magic item. And then we go to its edgy brother, the Oil of Sharpness. This magical substance resembles the fine oil used to clean and protect magical armor and weapons. If it's carefully rubbed on the blade of any edged or pointed weapon, the oil will have the effect of making equivalent to a magic weapon. One application will last for 9 to 12 rounds. A flask of this substance will contain, you gotta tilt the camera a little bit, will contain from 3 to 5 applications. The Dweomer of the Oil of Sharpness is determined by die roll. On a 1 or a 2 on a d20, +1 to hit and damage. On a 3 to a 5, +2. On a 6 to 11, +3. On a 12 to 16, +4. 17 to 19, +5. And 20, +6. That's pretty powerful too. So you end up with this Oil of Sharpness. You go ahead and you roll on the table. If you are applying it to a non-magical sword, and you roll a 13, you would get +4 attack and damage for that particular sword. I like that. The thing is with either the hammer or the Oil of Impact, rather, Oil of Sharpness, if they are put on a magic weapon, they don't stack. So if, for instance, I have a +1 weapon, +1 hammer, and I use an Oil of Impact, it becomes +3, +6, not +4, +7. Same if I have a +1 sword and I use the Oil of Sharpness and I roll a 4, it becomes +2, +2 instead of +1, +1. So the Oil of Sharpness, you may not get as much benefit from as you do from the Oil of Impact. I have also done greater oils of sharpness, where I have given sharpness as the power of a sword of sharpness, where it would slice a limb off, or for the greatest oil of sharpness, I have given it full Vorpal powers. But again, just for the time listed and no other effect beyond the magical pluses and the Vorpal ability, nothing else on the weapon, and it expires after the 9 to 12 rounds. So there you have it. That's just a quick look at Oil of Impact and Oil of Sharpness. Let's take a look at what the experience point value is on both of these guys. So here we go. Oil of Impact is a flat 750, and Oil of Sharpness is 100 points per application found. So if I find 5 applications, I would get 500 experience points for the item. So again, if you use magic item experience points, these aren't going to balance your campaign. They're neat too. They build the character's confidence having this thing in their pocket. And as I've said, they're both great for the big bad evil guy encounter. When you need a little bit more power, this is a good way for the fighter of the group or the thief of the group to prepare. But that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Leave some comments below. I am always looking for constructive criticism. And also take a look at the Patreon and see if there's anything you can do to help grow the channel there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.